You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast. Welcome all. I'm Sean, along with my co-host, Earl. Dave.
Yo. Yes, sir.
And you guys know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gamers with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. Be sure to listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows. And go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel at the Hot Seed Podcast. As always, if you don't feel like doing none of the shit I just asked you to do, just go ahead and visit us online at thehotseedpodcast.com, where not only you can listen and or watch the pod, but you can also pick up some dope merch by simply, supporting the podcast, and get 20% off, just by becoming a supporter of the Hot Seed Podcast Plus, or don't, and, just be wearing your plain t-shirts and shit, stuff like that. It's episode 151. Roughly a month and some change since our last podcast.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, because we haven't done the pod since before the
I
wedding.
thought it's been longer.
No, the last one we did was before the wedding. Before the wedding, we did one there.
Some money, some change. Yeah.
that man counting by the days and weeks. Let me find out.
Yeah, salute to Natasha for getting married.
Wow.
My wife Natasha, yes, we had a great day of wedding bliss. My bros was in the building along with my other bros. It was a fun time. It definitely has been a long ass month and some change off leading up to it, the day of, and then right after that, everybody dispersed like cockroaches. People was getting on planes, trains, and automobiles. We was in Aruba. It was a dope time, man. It was a dope time. What have y'all been doing since that time, man? First of all, did you enjoy the wedding? Did you enjoy the wedding?
Was dope. There were so many highlights of the wedding. My personal journey getting down there was a challenge in itself. I felt like my GPS was like really deceiving me. But we made it. Then the pre-toast stuff was dope. All the groomsmen was dope, man. Sean Brothers, that's hilarious. A couple of shockers there when they were walking down the aisle, and whoever did that mix where, of course, it wouldn't be Sean if he didn't have some kind of Marvel mix or something, but it was dope. Then I had to hear, Jill Scott. It was overall it was dope. Had mad fun. Only issue that I had was, collectively, Cass was about to put the pause on the lady that was, I wasn't, because I don't hit women, but I would just say it was some people that was angry that was about to put the pause on one of the people that was serving, because it's all you can eat, but old girl was really trying to ration the food. Then to do all of that at the end, just to be like, oh, y'all got extras y'all can take home. Man, gonna tell grown ass adults, yeah, you can't eat chicken fingers because that's for the kids. Man, that was a good time.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Salute to Superfly, man, for putting that mix together. Well, we gave him the music, and he did his thing on the mix and why. So salute to him and Kaleo and Noah and E-Rich, man, for them doing the media aspect, music and photos and stuff like that. So salute to those guys and the entire We Are Something Else podcast crew, because they were all in the building. Yes. They came out far and near to fly out and whatnot. David.
It's pretty similar. I'll start with the ride. Definitely a place that I will probably not be visiting again, but we had a good time as far as that area.
Big facts.
But other than that, getting up there, definitely the Marvel Cinematic score. The thing I was impressed by is the fact that, if I heard it right, you had did your own thing as far as picking that out, and then Natasha did the same thing. Is that right?
Yep, we both had the same exact idea.
Okay. All right. So that's pretty impressive. She knows you well. So that was pretty awesome. Definitely shout out to the bartender. Had things on point for me. By about the third or fourth round, person pretty much knew my face and was ready. So, shout out to bartender there. Yeah, thanks, Javen. Yep, for people that don't know who Javen is, that is Sean's son, and the person that I was preparing in my mind what I was gonna say and all this other type of stuff when we were talking. And I was like, all right, you ain't gonna be no bitch. You good? Everything gonna be straight. I don't write nothing down. I said, just gonna speak from the heart. Then Javen gets up there, and the non-emotional guy gives this emotional behind breakdown for his dad. And then the hug and everything at the end. I said, motherfuckers, they got me. They got me. Here we go. Here we go. So that was a awesome part right there. But honestly, the thing I love about just get-togethers like that in general is the fact that, just like this podcast, is unfiltered. So it's an unfiltered meeting of so many people to just have a good time in the same space. And people don't realize how much that doesn't happen.
True.
It's sad to say how much that honestly doesn't happen. We get together on this podcast, we get together on the Xbox, stuff like that. But it's not like we see each other on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, So it's good for all the people that you care about to be in the same place, in a safe space, and just having a pure good time. Ain't worry about who's stepping on your shoes and who gonna bring this into the zone, and is this thing gonna let it out early? It ain't that type of function. It's just a good time. So we definitely had a good time. I didn't have the problem that Earl had. I got my food and I rolled. But yeah, good time. DJ was definitely on point.
It was dope, man. It was definitely a great time. I was glad that it got there because the leading up to it, like, bro, I just want to get this going. Like, it can't plan nothing else. It's just get it going.
Real quick, sorry. Shout out to Natasha for the outfit change. That John was dope with the sneakers switching back. Yeah,
she did it. Go ahead, she playing that. She definitely did. She definitely did her thing, man.
You're on mute, bro. You're on mute.
The mother-daughter dance was tough too.
I did that mix.
Yeah,
I will say I did that. Yeah, so that was something that it was all of it was great, man. It was a big party, as things should be. A lot of people in attendance, and everybody was there who's supposed to be there. The only thing that grinded my gears was I wish I had just picked fish and chicken instead of fish and beef, because that steak was not hitting. It was not. They put that down. I was like, somebody dried out the steak, guys. But that's neither here nor there. No seasoning, stuff like that. It was rough. But bartender was dope, man. It was dope seeing everybody there. The travel there, I think, for everybody was crazy. Like, no matter which way you travel from, the the guy on the radio was like, yeah, so traffic is bad no matter where you come from. And he just gave all the list of things. And we were out close to West Virginia. We were still in Maryland, out in Hagerstown. So much so, one of the highways that led into Williamsburg, he said, yeah, there's a backup into West Virginia. I was like, what the heck? I mean, he was just like, yeah, just be careful, guys. Like, so it was, yeah. And it was done, really. I will say this. I do believe in paying people their worth and their value and stuff like that. But this also, as we all three of us, have had our weddings in different platforms, but man, the cost of venues alone is bananas. And are some inflated? Probably so. Because one of the reasons we went out there is a great venue, it was great like that. But some of the places, just like churches and stuff like that, which, I'm not going into church guy at this point in my life. But what they were charging, I'm saying to myself, y'all, Y'all don't connect that. Y'all don't collect that on Sunday for y'all tithes and offers. How the hell are you charging this much for this building ain't paid for? Y'all non-profit, right? All this other type of stuff. But yeah, it can be costly, but it really is. I will say is for anybody who's going to take that journey at some point, do what feels right to you. You ain't got nobody to impress but yourself. That's it. Don't do it because you're trying to impress a bunch of people. Because just like you don't want to be house broke, as Dave would say when we buying a house, you damn sure don't want to be wedding broke. All that for like a day, for you'll probably only.
I know plenty of people that do it.
Yeah, ain't no point. Ain't no point in doing it, guys.
Plenty of people that do it.
Yeah, that's arguments after the fact. On the honeymoon, like how are we gonna pay for this? Nah, we're not doing that. Not doing that. But it was fun, man. Again, it was great having that time with all my family and friends and my brothers. And I ain't gonna lie, my son did get me with the speech. I didn't even know. Like when I knew he because he was the best man along with Dave, but it didn't register me that he was gonna speak. I didn't think he was going to speak. And then I seen him standing there, nonchalant. He was so confident, had his cup in his hand. I'm like, oh shit! And then he spoke with the Teddy P voice. Like, right. And shout out my man Dave too, though. Hit me with the handkerchief out there. I cried a lot on my wedding. I think I cried more than my wife. I cried all the goddamn day. Shout out to my tailor who did my suit. My pants didn't rip when I, had that one little performance. I'm glad that that didn't turn about.
No performance.
It might have been. Got it. It might have been. But we talking about that. We talking about the one particular. That's fine. Yeah, it's good times, man. Good times. Month ago. That happened all a month ago.
Damn, that was a whole month.
Yeah, man. That wedding was the 15th of June.
Goodness.
Yeah, and we did our pod like the week before that, and that was it. So, welcome back. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. So let's get right on into it. So of course, for timestamp guy, it's 8:54 on the 24th of July, and tomorrow, if I'm correct, is opening ceremonies for Friday.
Nope.
Sorry, Friday is opening ceremony for the Olympics this year that are being held in Paris, France. Paris 2024. And am I the only one that's not excited about this? Like, I'm like, yeah, I want to see it.
I'm excited for track and field. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I got you. What you got? What you got, guys?
I'm definitely excited for it. Now, there's levels to this, as they say. We definitely spoke offline to the fact of it's not marketed the way it used to be. We remember all the different athletes and stuff and the build up to the Olympics back in the day when we were growing up. It was huge because you're on the world stage. This is the biggest competition ever. And it's the best of the best. But it just seems throughout the years like a lot of this stuff dies down and you don't build up the competition, the rivalries that are going on, the storyline. It's not there. And I always say this every 4 years. I know I said it for the last Olympics. I had said, why don't we see more competitions, specifically like track and field throughout a regular year? Because we don't, especially on a professional level. You'll catch the college meets every now and then, but on a professional level, we don't see them. You see like one national race real quick, and that's about it. So there's no build up there. It's supposed to be instant gratification in a way, as far as, hey, boom, here comes the Olympics, go watch them. But there's no build up. Same way with swimming. I believe her name. I don't want to get it wrong. No. Well, Ledecky is already out there, but I'm talking about was it Simone Manuel? I think her name is. Sure. She always upsets people, and she's never put out there to win, and she just keeps on getting into these Olympics. But this is a story that should be built upon. Our gymnastics team, another thing. Simone Biles, the best gymnast ever to exist. But we speak about her every 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy to me that they don't capitalize on this better. And so we can promote it better and also look forward to it, but also get them paid more, because it's all about that eyes on you. With the eyes on the world stage, they would get paid more because now more people are tuning in. More people are demanding to the fact of, hey, this week, hey, it's track season. I know they run all throughout the year, but we don't see it. We don't see it. So that's my one gripe when I get to this time period. They have stars out there. Yes, you may not have a Usain Bolt anymore or anything like that, but there's some stars out there, and there's definitely storylines out there, but you don't hear about it until we get right to the Olympics. So that's my one gripe on it. And by the way, it does have to do with the Olympics. Shout out to Snoop Dogg, man. That man's going to be carrying the flag at one point. That man went from murder was the case to carrying the American flag at the Olympics. You know what? Only in America.
I felt, before I pass it over to Earl, and this just may be a case of like, you know, the social media space we have in, there's not a lot of wonder. Because remember, there was a lot of mystique around our older athletes because you didn't have that instant accessibility to them, you know, and so forth. So now everything is right in front of you. That, I feel like that might be a part of it. But I also feel like, and this is just my opinion alone, I feel like the pride in country isn't what it used to be. And part of that is some of the shit that's happened over the last, our adult lives. Now, this is not the first time, you know, stuff has been happening in the U.S. specifically to, you know, especially to Black folks and other minorities for the longest time, and they still went out and competed at the U.S. But now I feel like the pride in country has waned so much that us as viewers, we don't get hyped about it no more, because you felt, it's hard sometimes to feel such pride in a space when you could, and we're going to go about other conversations tonight on this pod that continue to happen. You're like, damn, bro, like, I'm trying to get behind the flag thing, but damn, you got this, you got that, you got this. And then there's some person out there who says, well, if you don't like it, leave the country. Shut your ass up, you know, before you let it come out your mouth. It's just, the fact is, not just us, but other countries as well. You go to Russia, China, all the other countries, man. Like, the pride in the place that you live in now has waned for a lot of people. And while you are representing your country, sometimes you be like, bro, I'm representing them, but I'm really riding for the people on my team, if that makes sense. And for those who are, you know, military like I was, you understand what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm riding for the folks that you know, they're my battle buddies and such, because this other thing ain't really doing right by us. What you got, Earl?
I mean, I agree, but I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think it's so much shit going on right now, bro. Like, I'm speaking for Americans. Like, it's so much shit going on that, like, it's really like, we don't give a fuck about no Olympics. You know what I'm saying? If anything, the Olympics can serve as a distractor. But it's kind of hard to root. Like, when I was coming up, when I was younger, it was like, yo, I was rooting for everything. Like, yo, want USA to win. Mm-hmm. Man, I could care less. And in some situations, I'm like, man, in some events, I'm like, man, I hope this team, this country wins. Like basketball in South Sudan, I was rooting for South Sudan. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because it's not like I have nothing against, you know, it's just because their story was more captivating. Like, I like underdogs. I like that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? NBA, they ain't won it. That's why I'm more gravitated towards like track and field. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is more captivating. And I respect them more because I ain't gonna hold you. Like, this is what makes their careers. You know what I'm saying? So I'm somewhat looking forward to the Olympics just because it's, for me also too, it's something sports related, you know, that I'm gonna be excited because at least for 2 weeks is gonna be captivating my interest. But to say that I'm excited like before, can't say that. Can't say that.
Right.
I'm I'm curious. I'm curious what the local community of Paris feels about these Olympics, because we know the stories when the Olympics has shown up to different countries, and it's been, all the festivities. Once all that stuff goes away, what some of these countries are left with, they're left with, in some cases, a financial burden that, the committee is just like, well, figure it out. We saw what happened in, what was the country a few years ago that damn near filed for bankruptcy? Was that Belgium? No, that wasn't Belgium, was it? It was
I don't think so.
damn, I'm thinking off the top. I forget off the top of my head, but it was a Olympic country a couple of years ago that was on the brink of financial just collapse. But you also see a lot of other countries out there where they've had the Olympics come through and they're left with these facilities, man, that go unused, and it's it just becomes it's an
Well, see, that's the
eyesore.
key.
For the longest time, they had that
Because
old thing in yeah.
Go ahead.
Good.
Now, you touched on the key part. As far as I know, over in Paris, the way they did things different and keep down their overhead is they're using a lot of spaces that are already there. So I know the Olympics that you're talking about. I forgot exactly where it was
Got
at.
you.
But they built up every single arena in place.
Yeah.
So these places weren't even there.
Yes.
But since the
Right.
Olympics was coming, they put up all these spaces. Well, after the Olympics is gone, well, guess what? They're just sitting there. No, I believe most of it, if not all, most of the places out there for the Olympics for Paris, they set up in vicinities that were there, or they just added on to, you know what I mean? Not like cleared out of space in certain ways. I would have to see the percentage. I know somebody that's out there right now. They went out there basically for the week of the Olympics. They're gonna come back right beforehand. But she's having a ball out there, and she said the vibe is high out there as far as for the Olympics, and seems like everything's pretty much ready to go. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll be watching the opening ceremony. I don't know if I can watch all of it because that thing goes on and on and on and on. But I'll be looking for my points.
Yeah. You're talking about 329 events over 32 sports. And one of the countries, this isn't one particular, but Rio had a big, the financial, the economy in Brazil was slowing as it was, but the Olympics, they make it no better for Rio. But there's another country, I can't think off the top of my head, but Earl mentioned basketball. So we can transition directly from the Olympics that we talk about them now. Team USA, man. We've been watching what you want to call, I guess, the tune-up games. He spoke about the South Sudan game, which I ain't gonna lie, I was rooting for them to win that game too, because they were favored by 43 points. The Team USA guys were, and they were on the verge of losing that game. Legit, if it wasn't for really a LeBron James score at the end, and then Anthony Edwards kind of grabbed that. So, and then two, they had the South Sudan. They had a couple of chances at the end to get that game-winning shot. Even more so, their center, the big man inside.
America,
I believe he got fouled at the end.
Yeah, he did. He definitely did. South Sudan was leading for 3 quarters.
Right.
You know, dude had a triple-double. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just like, they are indicative of what the Olympics is about. It's like, yo, you're playing for something that's bigger than you. Like there was definitely a pride there. Like it was bigger than basketball. That's why I was rooting for them, because I'm like, yo, you can see that. They was playing like I have nothing to lose, where we was kind of just on some like, I garnered this shit on my chest, but
the U.S. team is playing games anyway with the way it was picked anyway.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't playing with pride there. Yeah, you're not playing with pride. Like,
here's a hot take for you guys. So I know what the 92 Dream Team did for basketball and the U.S. and stuff like that. But when you really, really, really think about it, the NBA players playing in the Olympics. That really is the opposite of what the Olympics are really about.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is the majority of these athletes, they compete every 4 years. And like gymnastics, they have their world championships and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not paid like the NBA players are by any means. Simone Biles, they're an exception because they have the sponsors, stuff like that. But as a whole, if you look at all these athletes, I believe it's like over 10,000 athletes. Yeah, these guys, they're not everyday people like us because they're well-trained athletes, but they're not paid multi-millionaire athletes like the NBA are. And I feel like since the 92 Dream Team, I know what they did there because after them losing in 88 and so forth, that was the thing that kind of like brung that back in. They bring all the great players together, and that is really what brung basketball in globally. So it really did more for the NBA than it really did for the Team USA thing. In my opinion, I feel like there should be more unnamed basketball players on Team USA. Now, I think just off of ego, that won't happen because the U.S. was like, nah, we can't take that chance because we can mess around and lose to these other countries. But you take aside some, that too. But those South Sudan guys, outside of forget his name, the point guard, he had played in Chicago for a short, but all those other guys they're just hoopers. They're not.
See, this was the difference
players.
This was the difference that Earl was just talking about, kind of leading into the pride thing, specifically in basketball. These countries, they play together year round. This ain't no makeshift throw together teams that they do just for the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
We throw together a team for the Olympics. Think about it. Even on World Championships, that's not our Olympic team. they throw together a team for the Olympics, depending on how we did the last Olympics. So this is for the rebuild, and here you go, certain type of dream team. But yeah, these other teams, they play year round. You know what I mean? If we go back, like Ginobili and them used to go back and play for their team, and that's why when you met them, it was like, whoa, they seem like a like a real threat. And then it started building, even more. And yeah, the USA team, you got to realize a lot of what you would call the USA team is now the world team. Because we watch the NBA and you see how many international players are there. When you're looking at a team like France that both has Gobert and Wemby there, like you're looking at Twin Towers. And if they start getting together people on that team that can regularly knock down shots, how you getting past that? So it's those type of things, and they're building up to just beat the US. That's it. That's it. They build up all these years, all these games to just beat the US. So that catch up, there's that huge gap that you're talking about to bring in some young players or college players. If they did that, they would lose. Because right now they can come in with the players that they got right now, and they can lose. They can lose. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't win. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
And that's why I want them.
Some of these squads that they come in with, and they think that they can go with these small centers and stuff like that. These are some, these boys for other countries. They're ready. I'll just put it that.
That's exactly why I want them to stop comparing them to the '92 Olympic team. Like, I understand, basketball is changing. Like, stop comparing them, dog. Like, stop comparing them. When they went out there, it was about business. Like, the fact that Michael Jordan took it personal. Like, he different. Like, he took it. Him and Scotty took it personal when they was gassing up Tony Kukoc. All he was trying to do was just play, bro. And they took it. Man. They made it their business to make sure that man kept that man under 5 points or whatever they first meeting. Like, LeBron and them ain't doing that. Like, they ain't got that type of. They ain't built like that. Like, they ain't built like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not, man. And that's and I believe I heard you say, Dave, this, you month back later, and connection issues crazy. I won't be surprised if they don't win gold. They barely, and I know they're tune-up games, but I won't be surprised. And they will lose. I guess the Team USA folks who put that squad together and everybody else will lose their mind if they don't win gold. But look, man, like to your point, like the NBA has changed. Some of the best players in the NBA now are all not from the US.
Mm-hmm.
Your last MVP, your MVP for the last 2 years is from Serbia, I believe. So it's the whoever puts that, there's a lot of politicking that goes with that team because I know they want to make sure they put a squad together that is going to be dominant out there because we're supposed to be at the forefront of basketball. But to be perfectly honest, while those who may think that, you got to look at the players. It's like, hey, are you guys as invested in your skills and your craft that we are? Because you can see this during the regular season that a lot of these players don't work on fundamentals.
Yeah,
they don't. So like for you to go into like a world championship or in the Olympics where these guys, they are fundamentally sound. You're not getting them bullshit ass foul calls that you get in the NBA. That's not going to happen here. And you see what happened. Like 4 points to Germany and squeaking out a win against the South Sudan, who's like the youngest country in the entire world.
Let me put a personal gripe out there, and that's the reason why I'm not going to say I don't want the U.S. team to win. I'm not. But that's the thing. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not rooting against them, but it doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly.
And one of the things that pissed me off, why it doesn't matter, is all the politics before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Already pissed me off. When let's get into it. Let's just go right into this. So, how do you get paid as far as your career, your profession?
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't finish the year for your team, the thing you're getting paid for.
Yep.
Yet you could all of a sudden come back after the season over and go, let me represent the US team.
Right. This is a couple of players.
Right.
It's a couple. Yeah. Some of them now still on there. So I'm not just talking about Kawhi.
Embiid, KD.
Like you didn't finish during the biggest time for your team and your teammates. You weren't there. Yet you can limp your behind onto that court, into these practices, and represent the U.S. team. If you don't finish the year for your team, you shouldn't be able to represent the U.S. I'm paying you to be here for this team. So if you didn't finish that year, you don't need to be there in the summertime for the U.S.
And then
period.
And then honestly, I don't even think this is like the best we have. Like
it's not.
Like
Kyrie should. How many from the Celtics?
They got 3.
And you don't have the MVP of that team.
Jaylen Brown should have been there before all of them. Kyrie should have been there. Bro. Kyrie should have been there.
It's politics, bro.
It's ridiculous.
The whole Nike thing, all that stuff that they got going on. That's where when people think it's you anti-US. No, I'm anti-bullshit.
Right.
Like that whole thing's bullshit to me. So I can't sit back and back when it was the Dream Team, man, I had the shirt. Back when they used to have the cartoon characters with the big heads and stuff like that, I had the shirts of like Barkley and Jordan and Magic and Bird, all of them on the shirt. And I loved it. You couldn't tell me nothing. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. And if you saw how they walked around internationally and how the world stopped, that was it right there. But this stuff right here, I don't know. It doesn't, they don't even seem hyped to be there. Like, let's be real.
Let's y'all it was kind of a layup. And I was going to save this for later in it, but it's a layup right then because a tweet was sent out by a NBA player regarding Team USA and what you just said now, Dave. Not exactly what you said, but it correlates to that. So one, Nick Young, Swaggy P himself. He used to
No,
play for the Lakers.
right. Yeah.
He tweeted out, and we're going to get into this conversation right after that. So just hang on, folks. So the police shot and killed a 36-year-old black lady holding a pot because she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." And we out here playing for USA. Before I go to ask you guys, I went and looked at the comments on that tweet, and then I seen people, just the public, but they was like, well, since that happened, they supposed to stop playing ball. I wanted to remind you guys, when everything was going on with George Floyd and everything else, remember, these guys, the WNBA players, they walked off the court. The NBA players, for a minute, they completely did not play, and so they got that together. And now with the Olympics being around, he has a point. What's y'all take on that, man? What's y'all, because we're gonna get right into that. What's your take on what he said, and then we can go into this story here, man.
I mean, I agree. I don't agree with a lot of things Nick Young says, but with this one, I definitely do agree. But I mean, I can't say and tell them like, yo, you shouldn't play. I mean, you're grown, so you decide what you want to do. But what I do hope that they do, especially LeBron, since I feel like, and this is the one thing I will give LeBron respect for. He is truly somebody that's well-rounded. Like he speaks up, when he needs to speak up. So if you're gonna choose to play, which is your choice, I hope you're using your platform to bring awareness to this situation. Quite frankly, if he didn't play, I don't think people would give a shit anyway. Like, real talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that has nothing to do with nothing. Like, what I want to see is justice for this young lady. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all the basketball shit. I could care less if they playing or not, but it's like I want to see the justice. You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, them not playing is not going to fix anything on this side.
Yep.
Right.
Totally agree.
Do you think?
What I'll say. Oh,
before I get to that, do you think we could potentially see a Tommy Smith and John Carlos situation if they win the gold? Are they on the podium with the fist in the air?
It's a different time.
Okay,
this is a different time. They're not invested like that.
We kind of led into this conversation because we were saying like it's not the same. The feeling's not the same. Everybody was looking at that point,
right?
On the period that you're talking about. Everybody was looking,
right?
Especially for what was going on around the world at that time, and for when they threw up their hands, threw up their fists, it was a totally different. Now, and it's sad to say this to you, if you're calling for them to not play for that incident, we would never see sports at all because there's an incident all the time.
All the time, yeah. And
all the time, and that's sad.
To answer your other question, like to go back to that, like you said, what they do with the two brothers with Smith,
Tommy Smith and John Carlos.
Tommy Smith and Carlos,
John
right?
Carlos.
I would say no because they were the exemplar, so they actually got to see what the aftermath of them doing that, like how that translated. Now, had this been a situation where there was no Smith and Carlos, I don't know. But also too, like again, it's a little bit different with track and field too because they ain't making money like basketball players are. Like it's almost equivalent to like a freaking practice squad or the low man on the football on the NFL team, like talking about we're gonna take a stand. Nah, I ain't messing with my money. Your livelihood.
And I know we're drawing this towards the comment that Nick Young made, but I also don't want to sway away from the actual incident, which was cold-blooded murder. And for anybody that's seen the video, I caught it like I was in the bed, I was about to go to sleep, and that's when I caught it, and it woke me up. Like I couldn't even go like right back. You get what I'm saying? Like it disturbed the hell out of me because I didn't know what I was watching for a moment, and so I had to look at it a couple of times and then listen a couple of times, and then I'm just like, these are the type of things where people feel, I don't know the word I'm looking for within the badge. It's a sense of power, entitlement.
Mhm.
They feel so empowered and so entitled with this badge. I don't know. We're still recording,
Pretty
so I'll
good.
jump back in. But they feel so entitled to
Mhm.
me, girl, that this guy, if you watch the video, after he shoots the woman right in the head, and he did it. The person that was with him goes like, "Oh shoot, let me go and get like the medic kit," and he
He
basically
says
says, "No,
no.
you ain't gotta do that."
She's dead.
He says it's a headshot.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Like, even if you felt, let me go on the side which I don't even believe at all that he felt threatened. But even if I went on that side of whatever he thought he was threatened from, hot thing of water, blah, 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 you fire off a kill shot?
Right.
There ain't no warning shot. There ain't no shooting the arm, shooting like you
No tasers.
fire off. Yeah, like what the hell is that shit for? You get what I mean? So that's where I'm just like, if this person, I don't want to hear no suspension without pay. I don't want to hear none of that. If you're not in jail for cold-blooded murder in every breakdown possible, because I know there's so many different ways of how they state it within the law, and you're not in no club med type joint, the club fed or what they call it.
Yeah, club bag.
No.
Or your club bag.
Yeah, I don't need you in that. I need you in there with the people that you put in there. And then
It ain't gonna happen.
But this is the type of stuff I mean. Like, forget about the sports for a moment. This type of stuff happens way too often.
But
and it's so normalized.
I think it was so many layers to this that was just like disheartening. But I think the biggest thing was the fact that I call you because I'm scared.
Nice. Right.
Because I'm
it's like 1 o'clock in the morning or so.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I think she was by herself. I called you because I felt like somebody was in my area.
There's a prowler.
There was a prowler. Cool. I call you, right? I don't know if you've seen all of the different video angles. But
mentally okay part and all that.
Yeah, are you mentally okay? What indicator did she get off for you to even ask that? And you're not even equipped to, because most cops are not mental health specialists, like at all. Like if anything, they are counterproductive to mental health crises. Like they're not equipped to deal with that. I mean, this shows. So then she's sitting on her couch. You're asking her for her ID. She goes over to get water for whatever reason. And all she says was, "I'm going to rebuke you in the name of Jesus." You insinuated, or you felt like she was going to do something else. And let's say, and then when you look at the video,
by the way, she was saying, "I'm sorry" and all that stuff before.
She was saying, "I'm sorry." She had her hands up, no pot in her hand. Yep. It was no pot in her hand, and he shoots it. But let's just say she did have the water in her hand, right?
That's what I was saying.
The feet that you're standing back from, if anything, you're gonna just get wet, bro. Like, and you can move back. Like, that wasn't a cause.
Or you get the hell on out the way.
Or just get right. That wasn't a cause for you to shoot. But then also too, I'm not jacking at you at the killer because you are trained in your firearm. So you could have shot this lady, and not to say that it was even justified for her to be in any capacity. But if you let it off, what you did, you had to go for the head. You couldn't shoot in the arm and the leg. You had to
Right.
shoot in the head. So it just, I think for me, and I was telling my boy this the other day, I was like, man, this shit is like so numbing. You're getting so numb to this shit. And it's just like, I'm tired of going on IG and Facebook and you watching these videos, which is just trauma induced, you know what I'm saying, triggering, and then people putting up posts, might be a statue, might be something, goes away, then something else happens. Like, clearly laws ain't changing. And the way that we moving, it seems like we going backwards. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it needs to be another course of action because the message is not getting through this way.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to the camera for a second there. It's weird. I don't even got to really say much on that because you said it's everything that exactly as I would have said it. It is.
But this plays right into the hands of like Trump and them and shit. Like this, this is the divisiveness that
man.
They want. They like.
Yeah.
And then got the audacity to call themselves God fearing, which is crazy.
Yeah, which is always interesting how that goes, because at some point there's some idiots who will still defend what happened
Always
in this case.
Always.
And it's so crazy because then at the same time you have to compartmentalize your thoughts around this, because again, I have relatives who are in law enforcement, retired and such.
I don't know what you said.
I guess he was saying. I guess he was talking about he has long. I mean, to piggyback off of what he was probably going to say. You know, I definitely had, like, my dad was a police officer. You know, and you know, I had my uncle was a police officer. My other uncle, he was a police officer. So like I have respect for law enforcement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what my fear was always, I don't know what's going on. And I was telling my boy this the other day. My fear is that these continuous acts can put a jeopardy on law and order, which
Absolutely.
I'm very concerned about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at January 6th, they already showed you that, okay, we can take it there if we need to, right? But then there's another side of this. You know, at some point, people get tired. And they're like, yo, you have a threshold and you're like, you know what, enough is enough. The talk and the laws, all this shit is not working.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And enough is enough. But what I'm worried about, because this is not correct, and I really do feel like there's a small percentage of cops that are assholes. And there's a bigger population that are actually very good, decent individuals that's just trying to do their job and go home to their families.
Right.
The problem is that small population is fucking it up for the whole entity. And then it can't be that blue wall of silence shit. Like, if you allow that shit, if you allow that shit to happen, you're part of the problem because you're not, like Dave said, you're not checking. But the thing that I get concerned about is if people get to the point where they say, you know what, man, fuck this shit. I'm fearful for cops because it's like, yo, you gonna get some crazies out here that just say, fuck this shit. You in your car, your patrol car at night.
It's already
happening.
And that's what I was about to say. That's already there. That's not a buildup.
Motherfuckers just letting off. Like you're not winning that.
But realize you're also getting to the point where people just take it into their own hands. Go back to what you just said. Not just retaliation on cops. I'm talking about people just take the situation
into their own hands, right?
So if we go back to the beginning of how we discussed this, she called them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I call you because I'm scared and I'm the one that dies. How many times am I going to keep on doing that?
No. And the sad thing, you can't even say I could.
Not like she can't do it, and it's sad to say. But I'm saying, how many times for a person seeing that happen, am I going to say, "Oh, I feel I'm endangered," but am I truly going to call the cops? You see what I'm saying? And that's where things start to go.
Like who?
And that trust level, it's not there at all. I remember as a kid. I'll just say this real quick. I remember as a kid, and I don't know. I know more of your area where you grew up, Earl. I know your area, Sean, but not as far as back then.
Right.
But I know where I grew up, over in Rahway, New Jersey, we knew our cops. When we talked about like beat the street and stuff like that, like our cops pretty much hung out around the neighborhood. Like they were there. We knew them. We weren't scared of them. Hell, they could walk you home from school and all that type of stuff. Share candy with, like all that type of stuff. They knew us. They knew people by name. Hey, how's so-and-so doing? I remember, I don't want to put his name out there, but it was a person that always had a problem on our block, to the point where they would just pull up in the patrol car, open up the car, and just be like, come on, man. They won't cover them or nothing. Just come on. You already know. Come on. You know you gotta go in for the night. Come on. And get in the car, and not to laugh about it now, but that was the relationship.
Right.
And the respect level that was going on within the neighborhood. They don't have that, bro.
And let me ask you this.
They don't have that at all.
Was there any fight or resistance with that?
No.
Exactly.
Not at all, bro. Exactly. We played kickball with guys. Like they were part of the neighborhood because we knew they actually cared, because they put that time in. They weren't just responding to calls and stuff like that. They were there. They were part of the community. So even though I grew up in a bad neighborhood, like you didn't have fear off of them.
So let me ask you this then, because I think we often get into the habit of pointing out the negatives, right? But what is the solutions, right? What do you feel? What do you feel like needs to be done to help, like, mitigate this issue?
I think it's a big breakdown of communication, of training, of vetting. That's a key one. I don't think they vet harder. I think they vet normal jobs harder than things like when people have weapons and things like that. I think they vet other jobs much tougher. Hey, did you work so and so years in this type of field? Hey, you just want to be a cop? You know what I mean? You ready to go to the academy? And that's where. But here's the other part of that vetting. It shouldn't stop once I get the badge. You get what I mean? How much are you checked up on? What is the checklist of approval year after year, or quarter after quarter, and stuff like that? When you see numbers off, are you restricted from duty? Are you restricted from carrying a firearm? How many times do we hear that so-and-so has so many incidences, but they're still carrying, they're still patrolling the streets, they're still in that neighborhood of the people that that they don't, you know what I mean? Like, these are the type of things. That's why I say it's a huge conversation. It's not just one thing. I know we always hear about this, I forget what they call it, like non-biased training. That whatever. I ain't here for that. You're on mute, I think.
The report.
You're on mute, Earl.
There's a report that this officer, this former deputy sheriff, Sean Grayson, just put his name out there. He had worked 6 police jobs over his last 4 years. So he's had 6 different jobs over 4 years. Like, so, and one of them.
Where you running from?
Yeah, he was. A couple of the cases where why was he removed or why he leave it? It was just rated as other. One of them was like, he was released because he would refuse to move within 10 miles of that particular
area,
stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like, brother, as easy as for you to get in, And I'm not saying it's easy for them to get into the academy, but it should be just as easy for them to dismiss you from that because, like, to your point, Dave, they hold on to them far too often. And there are legitimate women and men who are just trying to go home and do their job.
And you put their lives in danger.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Every day.
but like a lot of these type of systems, like whether it's in government jobs, it's the police, stuff like that, that good old boy system shit
It's gotta stop.
put such fear in it. Well, if I say something about XYZ about this, then I'm fear of losing my job, my pension, or something like that. Because they've created their own horrible environment for the law-abiding officers who are out there. Because just from looking at the video and stuff like that, you saw those other officers. You could see it from their comments, everything else. Hey, bro, we don't want no part of this shit. We hope they bury your ass. What's happening. And the fact that I know he has a lawyer, he pleads not guilty. So we'll see how this thing goes. That whole system is completely beyond flawed.
But it's because it lacks accountability.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do something like that. The city gets sued. The taxpayer, the taxpayers get, they bear the brunt of that lawsuit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, put that responsibility and that accountability on that motherfucking cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that shit come out of his pension. You know what I'm saying? I mean, jail time, but like, let some of that shit come out of his pension and even affect his family. And I bet you they motherfuckers will move differently because it's like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's almost like it's open season, bro. And the reasons are getting dumber and scarier by the moment. To the point where it's like, yo, ain't no need for me to call you, bro.
That's what I was saying.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't no need for.
And that's where things get really scary.
Yeah, I just figured out on my own. There ain't no need for me to call you. And when people stop feeling the need to call the police, then that's when it gets dangerous for police, and that's my fear because I don't want to see that.
Mm-hmm. The key word in all this, man, is accountability. The lack of accountability across the board on so many fronts is why these situations continue to happen. And I don't have an answer, man.
I don't either. I just pray, man. That's all.
It's the Hot Seat Podcast with your boy Sean, Earl, Dave. We apologize for the little technical difficulties. It's been weird. Been a month and a half. Stuff don't want to act right. Got dust on it. Stuff like that. Again, of course, we're going to make sure that you guys do follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. Make sure you listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows, and subscribe on that YouTube channel, man. Let's continue on the same path because we'll save the better energy stuff for the end. I don't want to go one way and then start back with come back with the bullshit. So from one chaotic place of the world to the other, Commander in Chaos, man. And this, that's exactly what we said it is. So for those who have been paying attention, if you haven't, you've been clearly under a rock. We saw our current president, Joe Biden, pull out of this year's presidential race, and all signs are pointed at Vice President Kamala Harris as the new Democratic representee. During the same time, former President Donald Trump is back at it again, and I'll just say this. Of course, this comes off of the attempted assassination of him just a few weeks ago, really. Right after their debate. It was literally right after their debate, right? They had a debate, and I want to say a day or two later that happened. And there's all types of speculation around that. If you've been watching some of the news networks and whatnot, you've seen that the current director of the Secret Service has resigned after she got grilled by the committee, which she deservedly so, because it was just that whole handle of this situation, no matter who it is, just some ass.
Yeah.
done.
Now they're calling for the FBI, the head of the FBI.
It's
Quick question with that. Quick question, because this goes back to accountability. And this kind of, not to bring it back to the other situation, but when you was talking about how that officer was at like what 4 or 6 jobs or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Where's the accountability at for the person that hired them, the commanding officer? Where was the accountability for, like, and usually the government does a great job with background checks. And I'm like, and no disrespect to the director of the Secret Service, right? But I'm like, when I looked at her background, I'm like, wait a minute. You used to work for like Pepsi? I could have sworn like, and no disrespect, I'm not saying like that wouldn't qualify, but I got questions.
I mean, she was with the Secret Service before. She was like on a lower.
No, she was with the Secret Service. She was with the Secret Service for some years. But I'm just like, if I'm looking at you as being the director of Secret Service, right?
Right.
You are tasked with protecting some very key figures in the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm looking for is somebody who got one military background, that you was stout in the military. You know, you got like logistical and strategic, like expertise and all of that. Like, I'm looking for a stud, whether you're male or female. You understand?
Yeah.
But I'm just like, yo, under no circumstances, such something like, it's wild. Like that was child's play. It's wild that the audience can pick out and identify the shooter before your own
video of the shooter,
like the video
going up on the roof,
several, and identify the authorities, and y'all could have prevented that. So I'm like, that
they knew up to 10 minutes in advance before he came on stage. So let me just lead in this way. Whether you're for Trump or not, I'm not here to see nobody get assassinated.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's some pure hate if you're in that scale right there. But let me tell you something. You're supposed to be the Secret Service, the highest of the high as far as that type of security level. And the crowd is letting you know up to 10 minutes in advance, and you still allow me to go up on stage.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then you leave it up to the local police department to take care of that area that has an elevated view that gives you a line of sight. I mean, I'm no officer. I'm no Secret Service. I play Call of Duty, though. But you know about line of sight. You know about like that. How you gonna have somebody elevated, know that they're up there, and you're still investigating the situation? I'm not allowing my person to go up on that stage. He should have never even been out there. If you have any type of questions on anything, he should have never been out there. Mm-hmm. One of the guys, part of the committee, asked the former head of Secret Service, asked her point blank, said, I've been in surrounded by security detail, and I know for the simplest thing, like the sound of like a car like turning on, it'll shut everything down. Like backfiring. It'll shut everything down. You're telling me that you had a suspicious being that was going up on a roof and you still allowed this man to go out there right there. Forget even the shooting. That right there, you got to go. You got to go.
Here's my question. And, and it makes, I wonder, and stick with me now. Stick with me.
Yep.
Because this is a very sensitive, very serious matter. I wonder what Pepsi Co. is thinking. Because over the last year, their stock went down by almost 12%, and Coca-Cola stock went up by 6%. And she was part of their security at one point. That don't seem strange to you at all.
This was your serious. This was your serious take after both of us said. That's where you went with it.
I'm just saying. Because somebody thought, and I'm not laughing at the assassination attempt. I'm laughing at the fact that I come to you, Dave, We talking real estate, right? All right, cool. All right.
Mhm.
And I'm like, hey man, look, I'm trying to be a part of your team. Here's my resume. You looking at my resume? You be like, but you ain't got your wait a minute. You ain't got no okay, I see. Okay, you do got your real estate license. You just got that like 30 days ago. And prior to that, you know, I saw that you was working down. Wait, you never had a wait, hold on. You never had a job. It's one of those things where and I'm asking you for like to be I'm asking you to be like a major partner in your thing. I ain't talking about like some off like start at the
Yeah.
beginning. If I'm interviewing for the Secret Service job and I see that you're the security director at PepsiCo, and I have to think that what a part of that, what level of security does that tells me that you're right for this job? To be perfectly honest, like that, honest, like that's it's certain things that you look for in it. To Earl's point, that right there was like, nah, this why you even apply for this? It's like people who go on Indeed. It's like, yeah, I'm applying for the director of like Homeland Security, and all you ever did was work for goddamn Allied Security or top flight security. What, sir? I don't. Again, she was with the Secret Service like 20 some plus years. How she got this? Um, I don't know if this was a Joe Biden, Barack Obama hire, because you saw that Donald Trump. I think you said you read it off there that their Secret Service wasn't protecting him and actually almost caused the assassination of him in this case. So it there are some other individuals in some high ranking places in our government right now that I won't be surprised over the next year or so that's going to see the same fate. And we're seeing this in their parties and stuff
I
like
ain't
that.
putting that out there.
Yeah, they're not.
I don't
They're
want
not
to
fit. They're not fit though. You can tell by some of the stuff that's happened. They're not fit to do so. And this is just an extreme case of it. So I don't know. That being aside, what do we make of this upcoming election, man? I feel like we started this pod talking about the damn election.
All I'm gonna say with this, and I'm passing the day. Just as a unit, we look crazy. I'm not speaking on the side of what party I represent. I'm saying as a country, we look crazy. We are the laughing stock of the world right now. And we supposed to be the superpower, the exemplar, and we look fucking crazy. We look like a shit show. And honestly speaking, people are, and I fall victim to this, but I feel like I've been paying more attention as of late as to other things that's going on around the world that will and can impact us. And I'm like, there's so many different things that are concurrently happening, and it's really making it easy for America to kind of lose their spot. Like we are vulnerable because we're not strong. We're not a unit. Honestly, I hate to say this shit, and this might be a badass analogy, but I feel like this makes the most sense. America right now is black folks. And what I mean by that is that we cannot stick together. we do not move as a unit. That's what I mean. That is the only comparison I would give, that we do not move as a unit. And it's a class issue. I don't even think it's really race. Like it's a class issue that has sub layers that when you talk about race and things of that nature, but you have wealthy folks that's pretty much running this whole situation, running the show. And it's going to be at the expense of the have-nots. So we just look crazy as a unit.
Yeah,
I'll piggyback off of that. Yeah, politics is a shit show right now, and I'm just saying in general. The Republican Party, what I grew up knowing, doesn't even exist. Anybody can battle me on that and have that conversation. It doesn't exist. Even the things that people say the party is for, it ain't even for. So, yeah, I'll just keep it there. The Democratic Party, this whole situation was handled so unprofessionally. It was so amateur hourish. Why did it take you 3.5 years to figure out that this man shouldn't have been the next person running? And you leave it in there to the fact of he's all we got. You know what I mean? And you put him in a situation to basically battle to be there. And I don't fault him in any sense, because he even said it tonight. If you saw before we came on, he gave a speech to the nation about him no longer running and his decision making and where he wants the future of the country to be. And the biggest part that I respect about it is this. First off, for anybody that says he wasn't pushed out, he was. He was pushed out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But for someone to even come to the understanding that this is not working out, this is that sense of power I was talking about when we were talking about the badge and all that type of stuff and the entitlement that you have. For someone to sit back and go, you know what? Instead of this story being told week after week after week and crippling not only our party, but our country, no matter what way this turns out, I'm just going to bow. I'm going to bow out. I'm going to step away. It takes a lot, because even that speech tonight, no matter how much it's scripted and written out, you saw him like, damn, how did we get here type joint.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that's the fault of the party. Just like it's the fault of the Republican Party in the state that they're in, it's the fault of the Democratic Party for the state that they're in. Number one, like, whatever happened to locker room talk? Why do we hear all this conversation about him on Front Street? I shouldn't even know about it. If you feel a certain type of way about your leader, talk to him. We shouldn't even know these things. He should have just popped up on screen like he did tonight, bowing out gracefully for whatever reason. But no, it was a shit show for damn near a month. You know what I mean? And that's what's crazy to me. I compare it to what I was talking about. I always say it about elections. It pisses me off when people wake up about voting rights every 4 years, as if they haven't been diminished for decades, and you know what I mean, like forever. Forget decades, hundreds of years. So when you see this, you're just like, but you're the professionals. You're the ones that we vote in and supposed to be representing our area and stuff like that. And that's why I say I take it off the national level and I go to the local level. You're the person that's supposed to be speaking for me on behalf of my voice, because this ain't how I'm thinking. This ain't how it's supposed to be ran. Like, what are we doing? For the past easily 8 to 12 years, we've been looking at the shit show of party lines and no, I'm not voting for it because I'm this and you're that. No, let's get the country moving. We don't have to agree on everything, but can we get something passed so we can get something done? Or else we're going to be in the same situation. It's beginning to just really get you to the sense, the same way we spoke about the whole police thing, where, and this is where I will defend some of the thought of what Earl and I share offline, is the fact that you build up that mentality of, I just don't care. You want me to care, and I should care.
Yeah.
But I just don't care, because you don't care. You're in there getting paid for a lifetime, having security for a lifetime, having pension for a life, all these different type of things, and you ain't doing no job at all.
Right.
You ain't doing nothing. Nothing's moving. Nothing's getting signed. Nothing's getting changed. And now we get to this where everybody saw the writing on the wall when he first got elected. Nobody thought Joe Biden should be running for a second term. And I voted for the man.
Shit, we didn't think he was going to make it through the first one.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, and I'm happy he did. But you get where I'm going? So why does it take you as a party to a couple months before the election to go, this don't look right? Yes, there's a different sense of energy around now this Kamala Harris push. And, we'll see where it goes from there. But why did you have to get down to this? I feel it's an injustice to her.
Yeah.
She didn't get the time to put together the whole coalition and do what she wanted to do out on this campaign trail. She didn't get to debate Donald Trump this first time, If I'm on that Donald Trump side, why do I got to debate you? I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna ride that out.
Well, I heard
So
they already trying to like.
Yeah, he's trying to pull it over to I believe Fox
Mhm.
or something like that. Because I think it was.
But he said he didn't want
ABC.
to. I thought he didn't want to debate her.
No, I think they're trying to pull it to a different area. We'll get more information on it because it was supposed to be on like ABC or something.
Right.
But I point these things out because, and I was saying it to my wife, you know, there's people that I would love to run, but I don't want to see them just thrown in there. You know what I mean? I don't want to step into those shoes. Now the feel of the country is this, and now I'm getting thrown in there. There was an assassination attempt on our past president. We got another president pretty much being pushed out of the fact of running. And now you want me to come in and say, like, I ain't trying. I'll just wait.
No, I'll be like, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. I'll stay over here with my state.
Yeah, this shit ain't worth it.
So that's why I say it is a shit show. Go ahead.
The dysfunction, man, is so it's so insane, man. Because I mean, everything you said is correct, and somehow, folks on both parties were sitting on the sideline and watching the rise of literally a living, breathing reality show, and people who watch that type of shit just buy into it over and no matter what. You can look at the most insane things that have happened. Something as crazy as the whole bleach shit in COVID. Hey, man, you inject yourself with bleach. And people like humans baffle me all the time. And now they got to a point now, even if Kamala Harris wins this election, you still won't see the last of Donald Trump. Unfortunately, you won't see the last of him until he passes away, more than likely, because he has that type of finger on the pulse of what used to be the Republican Party. And everybody who follows him after that. So
the division is already there, whether he's here or not.
Right.
The division is so accepted. It's always been there, but it's so accepted.
Right.
And just part of nature now, part of the culture within the United States. That
he made it cool. He made it cool for overt hatred. Like it used to be like covert, but he made it.
It was always stemming. Yeah.
He made it cool.
Yeah, he didn't make racism appear. Nah. These people already had these thoughts, the ones that you see act in a certain type of way now. But when I go, hey, no, you can act on that. It's all right.
Really?
That's good. Really? We're good.
Fuck these niggas, man. Can't stand them.
And then we'll be using that as an excerpt.
And then the flip side to all that, the majority of them that take that stance, they look up to him and say, all right, cool. All right, we riding with you. Hey, we need XYZ. He was like, oh, no, fuck you too. That's the crazy part that people don't get. Like those who are riding,
said that.
They be like, exactly. Like, bro, nah, we good.
That's when I go.
You think he's making changes for you? For you. No,
it ain't for you.
He's making them for me. I'm rich, bitch.
Oh my
This is, and that's why I said, like, this is really giving plantation energy, plantation vibes, where it's just, and this is why I said, like, I think what I have to put at the top is not race, it's classism. Like,
yeah.
Because I'm like, even on the plantations, you had
indentured servants.
You had the indentured servants who were poor white guys or poor white folks who they were empowered because they felt like they were better than the slaves. Mm-hmm. And that's what was promoted. So it's like, all right, well, the owners is going to treat you like shit because I'm rich. I'm treat you like shit. But you know what? You can feel like a man or you can feel empowered because you know what? In your eyes, I got somebody that's lower. So I'm going to make them feel like shit.
I ain't gonna lie though. Every day I look out on my patio and see my pool deck, I feel like I'm better than most people at this point in my life now because this other shit ain't for me though. podcast with your boy Sean Earl Dave. I got to make fun out of this because this shit is stressful, bro. It's stressful. I don't mean that. I'm not better than anybody else. I got poison ivy putting in the pool. I'm not. Of course, man, this podcast, man, wouldn't be what it is if we hadn't started off on video games. That's the fun shit. Let's talk about some goddamn video games. All this other stuff. I'm just gonna stay in our bubble. Because at the end of the day, look, this is what keeps us going. So let's get into some video game corner, man. The proper type of chaos. So it's here, folks. It is here. It is here. It is finally here.
I want to do it. Hallelujah.
2025 by EA Sports is here. It has been here now for roughly about a week. Actually, a week today, actually. A week yesterday, actually. And we have
I've had about 2 weeks.
Really? It came out. We got it on the 16th.
Nah.
I had it for 2 weeks. I had it on last Monday, buddy.
Oh, okay.
You feel me, Dave? Boom.
I had it 3 days early. I don't know. I wasn't available.
I had it on Monday, buddy.
Okay.
Last Monday, not this.
You ordered it or playing it?
I was playing it last Monday.
Oh, nice. How you ain't telling about it?
Well, when I found out, I ain't no need to tell you because never mind. You always at work. I told Dave, and then at that time, Dave was like, "Oh shit, word." Because as a matter of fact, I found out on Tuesday because I had to go bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I found out early, so I clicked on it and I was like, "Oh shit, the game is up." So I told Dave, but Dave was about to do something.
You're right. It was Tuesday. It was
Tuesday.
Right. The 16th. That's right.
But everybody else who bought the regular version got it on that Friday.
Yeah. Well, I had the same time. It was just Tuesday. My days is messed up. So I had the same day. That's right. Because I was playing it that night. I was saying I need to post about it. So yeah, right. But yeah, so we were 3 of the 2.2 million people who bought the early access to it, which I looked at a report that EA Sports is off the jump of that got maybe about 220 million off of what they trying to deem us as suckers of doing that. Y'all are just stupid because y'all don't know what y'all are looking at. But the game itself has been everything that we thought it would be, and then some. They have not failed, except for the fact we can export our classes. But gentlemen, how you feeling? Yeah. How you feeling about college football 2025, man?
Motherfucker. Man, let me explain something to you. First of all, shout out to the people that created this shit, and shout out to their detail.
Mm-hmm.
And they really took their time. It was like that brisket. You know what I'm saying? That pig. This shit just fall off the bone. You feel me? Like they took their time. You can't rush this shit. Like it was seasoned. It was right. You understand? It's that type of infatuation. And then the crazy thing is, you also put motherfuckers on notice. You putting Madden on notice.
True.
You putting 2K on notice. Shit. True. You kind of putting Call of Duty on notice. Because what's about to happen is all of them other shits are stopping right now.
Facts.
You understand? And my thing is, honestly, Madden better be thanking they Lucky Charms that they even offered a deluxe package. Because had they not offered a deluxe package, we might have been having a different conversation with Madden for this year. It might have been looking very, very grim.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Next year is gonna be looking very, very grim. Because Earl Wilders won't be buying Madden next year. I tell you that shit. Especially if they ain't important. If you can't import these classes or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a Madden. But go ahead.
We haven't done this in a while. Tag me in, yeah.
Go ahead. Boom.
All right. I told Earl this when he first asked me after a couple of days of playing. It is hands down the best sports game I've ever played in my life. And it's up there with one of my most favorite games ever. And it has nothing to do with playing the game of football. That's the side part.
Yeah, true.
I enjoy managing the team.
Yes.
As far as putting together the team, recruiting, that if they just made, I told Earl, and maybe they could throw it out there. So, hey, college football, holla at me, copyright. if you had even a management thing where you had an app just to college football, and I could just control the fact of, oh, there you go. I can just control my recruitment from week to week. Hell, y'all keep on moving the weeks for me.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll play when I can play. But as long as I can do my recruiting from week to week, I'll be straight with that game from years to years to years. So the like you said, the amount of detail that they put into this game, man, it is awesome. It is awesome. You feel bad for finding anything that's wrong with the game because of how good the game is.
Right. Right.
You feel bad for finding anything wrong. Now they just uploaded a patch that fixed a lot of things that people were pointing out. So even that got fixed within the first week.
Exactly.
Think about things with other games that we're still waiting for them to fix. And they went in within the first week of the game being released and already fixed a lot of the gripes. So they're even listening to us. Who are working for these people? And why don't you work for everyone else?
EA has gotten a lot better about that. They got so much better about that, I will say.
I don't get it. We play COD religiously. I haven't touched it since the game came out.
True.
COD just released a new season, some new updates.
Didn't even know that, and I'm actually good. I'm actually good.
Didn't even touch it, bro.
I'm actually
Didn't
good.
even touch it.
Right, tag me in.
Yeah, here you go.
I'm in there.
Tag in.
So I know at the beginning, and it may still be something to it. It was almost laughable that they were talking about they were only giving $600 per player. You know, after the fact, we saw that your boy Arch Manning had held out, and then it was a report he came back. He finally came back in. He did a commercial. He actually got paid $50K, if you guys didn't know. But I think that was for the commercial, something like that. But so when I'm loading up the game, so keep this in mind, $600. Everybody's like, man, they ain't giving them nothing. I was like, well, that money got to come from somewhere. Now I know they made $220 million roughly all for the pre-order stuff. But again, you got to think about the production of the game and stuff like that, paying all of the commentary talent. That's a lot of money. It's like a big budget Marvel or DC film. You're like, damn, you know, they made $500 million. Yeah, but it cost them $200 million to make. So when you go to load it up and it says, you know, if you want to do default rosters or import the rosters, you do the import aspect. And I looked at the number. That number was, I might be all about a few, but it's like 10,140. You multiply that by 600, that's almost $7 million that they had to pay out in NIL alone to just that. $600 a piece. So that's before the game even had came out. So mind you, they wrote a check for $7 million. Well, you know what, several months back or whenever they decided before, you know, the 16th of July even happened. And then on top of the fact that they paid all the money to Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler and all the rest of these folks there producing the game, paying all those people before anything came out. They probably won't release it because they usually don't do this stuff, but I'll be curious to see how much the entire production budget was for this game itself, because it's not just a scaled down version of Madden, which everybody thought it would be. You got to think about all of the sponsors. You got Discover in there, all the mascots. Nothing. All the stuff is in there. They paid a lot. They paid a lot for this, and the fact that, you know, we're enjoying it how as it is. The game still cheats, by the way. The game still cheats. I just want to put that out. It still cheats. But it is a hell of a gaming experience, because even though you're going to have some losses, you keep coming back for more because it's realistic. It will feel horrible if you were winning everything each year. So it makes it, the replay value on this is high. And again, like to Earl's point, I might just have to play Madden just because it was a digital purchase. I got to pay it because I paid $134 for this whole package. But even then, I might be like, shit.
Oh, well. The first time I paid for a game and then really play it.
Yep. Shout out to, you know, what's that? 2K Golf? Yeah, Tag Wars version. What else you got, Earl? What else, man? What else you got on this game? Anything else, man? How you feeling? How your team doing right now?
I feel a little disrespected. We've already, in 2 weeks, we've already on season 2. I've switched teams. I was with Colorado. Went to championship game, lost. Went to the bowl game, won. Had 2 first-round picks. Had a Heisman Trophy winner. Can't get no recruits. I think I got 2 recruits. Took my talents to Auburn. Auburn had the number, 12.
It's like top. Yeah, it was about top
something
10.
like that, recruiting class. But they were 4-8 last year. This year, I'm 8-1 currently. I'm ranked number 7, and I'm just finally getting acknowledged for the college championship brackets or whatever. But what I don't understand is I'm in the SEC. I beat 3 ranked teams. And no hate. This is not hate. My friend here has a 7 or 5-3 or something like that.
Yes.
It's 5-3.
Yeah.
But he's ranked number 5. How?
Who, me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes. I have a better record than Dave, and he gets to buy the first week of the championship. I mean, of the bracket. I'm sweating. But my record is better than both of them.
Now, for
college football.
And for the record,
so I do like that because if this is an indicator, then it is politics, and this is a politics. So even more reason why this shit is very fucking.
I'm using University of Miami. We started off the first year. I think they were ranked like 14, 17, something like that. The first season. They don't have 2 losses because it's a tough game, and my recruiting class was crazy. But yeah, I came back in ranked at number 11. I did have a couple of tough losses against some highly ranked squads. We are still ranked where we are. We're just 4.5 stars. Came in, they were 4, so I got a half star in one season. With a guy who don't look nothing like me, with a quarterback who's like an 80 overall. I'm sorry, Dave. Earl. I apologize. You shouldn't have picked Auburn. Should have stayed at Colorado. They were ranked 25. So.
They were ranked 24 because of me.
True. Then you left them. Then you left them like Dion did, like you left Jackson State. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Oh man. So I'm representing, of course, Michigan, national champs in real life.
Didn't need that.
It definitely needed that. I felt a certain type of way when Sean was talking about the game cheats. I lost to Michigan State. Shout out to Gary.
Oh man.
I lost to Ohio State.
Oh God.
During the season, but I made the playoffs. When I made those playoffs, I made it my vendetta to go out and beat all these teams. And that's what I did. I beat Ohio State when they came back up, ran through the playoffs about 3 games, got to the national championship against, I want to say, Alabama.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And they crushed me.
It's all right. I'm going to take care of them for you,
but, hold on. But it was like real life. I was satisfied because I beat Ohio State.
There you go.
I don't care if it's a video game. I don't care if it's real life. This is how it is. I had, during the off season, I had the second best recruiting class. I was happy about that. I told you that was my main thing. Came into this season. If you haven't played the game yet, you definitely got to pay attention within this game. You're just a person that, what we say, like click and play. This ain't it.
Nah.
You don't. Yeah, don't do this because you won't have any recruits. It just won't go right in dynasty mode. But you also got to look at your depth chart. Don't go by how it's just set up. Earl and I were talking about it because some of my recruits would have never gotten the game because all they do is look at the overall. No, you got to break down a lot of different factors.
Right.
I like the fact, even though in that off season, the transfer portal off the chain. Wait till you get to experience that, Sean. The transfer portal, you can encourage, just like how Deion Sanders came into Colorado and said, "Look, I ain't saying that you shouldn't play in college. You just ain't gonna play here." So I encourage.
I don't think you should say play here.
So I encourage you to, invest in that transfer portal. Right. Well, you can do that in the game. You go in and they'll tell you like how many you're over on players. So I was over 9. I think Earl was the same, over 9 on your roster. So I got to encourage 9 players to get the hell out of here. So, because it's college, I can't fire you, but when you
might want
encourage
to take
them, they're basically going.
You might want
they're
to
in
take
the
up
chance.
culinary arts, sir, because this is not for you. I apologize.
And they do it so real because you can't just go through your whole roster and just let go of the lowest players.
Right.
Because some of them are not eligible to be thrown within the transfer portal. Right. So you really strategically got to go in, and I mean, you're cutting people that had redshirted the first year, so they think they're about to start this year, and they done upgraded and everything like that, and you're like, yeah, you ain't gonna be around for this team. Sorry, you wasted a year. So the realism of it is not just a football game.
It is great, man. Like, my game cheating, by the way. So you were talking about that was against Notre Dame, one of our hated rivals. That goes all the way back to 1988, the Catholics versus the convict game. And that's how that game played out. It was a 7-3 loss for me on some shit that I won't even write for. I will say, EA, I need y'all to turn down the running into the kicker aspect, because it's ridiculous. It's happening way too often, guys. It's killing
Facts.
It's happening way too often, because that happens more than them calling any holding penalties.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's true.
And it's you have. I'll say one thing is about Madden. You cannot, if your quarterback is not a stud, stick to short and medium passing game. Because I'm trying to tell you now, if you're late, it's an interception, brother. It's an interception. That is, But I think y'all should give Earl a higher ranking, though, because he does lead the nation in passing, even though he only had like 16 yards rushing throughout the whole season.
He came up.
Was you at 27?
I got 300 now.
Okay.
So,
something else that you guys has commented before we get off this segment. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is now on Xbox Game Pass.
Yep.
Ahead of the soon coming launch of Black Ops 6. This is the first Call of Duty Modern Warfare game that has appeared on Xbox Game Pass. So if you want to play it, it's there. Big ups to Xbox too, because they've been giving us more and more on Game Pass for all of us who got Ultimate.
Yep. A lot of these day one releases too.
Yeah, they're jumping out there. So I like what they've done. I thought for a while, many thought for a while when they acquired Activision, a couple of other things, they thought it's going to go downhill. They have been giving us quality product, but I like what
the price went up.
Yeah, it did. Yes, that's it. I like it. And people are still gaming. We're just gaming differently than what we did before. We're not, I'm surprised GameStop is still open, to say the least. I don't see why there should be a GameStop open, because unless you're buying a pop figure or a t-shirt or something, you're not buying nothing on a disc, because it's all digital. And then if you do buy it on a disc, they're going to give you $3 back for it when you go to trade it in. So it's not even that. So much so I saw GameStop had a bin out front. It was down in Glen Burnie. And like, if you wanted games they were giving away, because there was stuff that, has no value to it. I'm like, damn. And some of them were sports games. I'm like, damn, that's some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, But that's our video game corner. If I can transition properly, because it seems like everything's working fine now. Now let's go. Podcast, Sean, Earl, Dave. Something that you guys haven't seen in a while. Not so breaking news. Ready? Ah, there we go. Not so breaking news. Well, since we were already talking about football, you guys may find this one interesting. You may already know the story. So, as if the Jaguars didn't overpay for their quarterback, Sunshine, out there, they got to deal with some other money issues. So, they filed a $66.6, I don't like that number, $66 million lawsuit against a former employee who stole $22 million from them. I don't know if you guys saw this story. So, the former employee, Amit Patel, they're filing against him for committing fraudulent misrepresentation, breach of fiduciary duty, and civil theft. Pretty much, he was stealing money using credit card reports and stuff like that, and funding his gambling and luxury lifestyle.
So he did the Shohei Ohtani.
Man, was he at 22 million? So Patel formally administered the team's virtual credit card program, which allowed employees to make company purchases on digital credit cards. He pleaded guilty to making hundreds of fraudulent purchases using their program between 2019 and 2023.
Why do people think they're gonna get away with that?
I don't
That
know.
is so easy to track. Like betting. That's what it is.
Right.
You already stole the 22, but now you gonna bet with it?
But
Wow.
and see, the betting part ain't the problem. It's what he was doing. Like, I was reading the story. He was like, he said he had spent the money on personal items, including his condo, cryptocurrency, and sports betting. So he's buying ignorant shit.
That's what I'm saying. All of that is
It's like you get paid $70,000 a year, and you pull up in a brand new Bugatti. How, sir?
You know what it is? You know what it reminds me of? Because we had this discussion offline. We were talking about like Jay-Z albums and stuff. And American Gangster, if you remember the movie.
Yes.
When Denzel told the guy, like, look, I told you, don't go out there. Don't be looking flashy. You know what I mean? Don't go grab up all it. And they be coming in with the mink coats, all this other type of stuff. Yeah, like, what?
And that's the thing that got him caught. You read it. That's the thing that got him caught. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I don't. 22 million. I'm trying to figure out how he got the 66 million though, because he stole 22 million. Where does 66 come from? Is that lawyer fees? Like interest? What is that? Lost wages?
Well, you always sue for more than you want. You always sue for more.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to figure out how he gonna get it back, because he's facing 30 years in a federal prison. I'm pretty sure a lot of that money, he had to sell that stuff. But what? They gonna get this money back? And the league ain't gonna give it to him because y'all stupid. Y'all didn't track that money.
They're gonna try.
They gonna try.
To try.
They gonna try. There's a couple things out there. And this it said Patel lost approximately $20 in stolen funds on FanDuel. And the Jaguars subsequently asked the betting site to return the proceeds. I believe that's $20 million. I don't think it's $20. FanDuel be like, nah, we're not giving this money. What? We're not giving this back. Y'all. First of all, you let it go on for 5 years almost. 5 years, and y'all didn't catch it. Now, in their defense, because you're seeing this on a serious note across a lot of stuff that's happened to us regular people. 2019, remember COVID happened. A lot of stuff shut down from 20 to 21, 22. So a lot of people, a lot of stuff happened doing it. You can look at like court cases. It's people who are just now getting to go to court because their cases got, pushed back so far because you had a whole year and a half when the country was down. So I can see that happening. But 22 million on FanDuel? Hey, that's, I guess. I know. I still can't get my draft. That's a lot of betting. And crypto. He lost money on crypto because, this little Shih Tzu thing, that thing died off. And, what was the other thing called, Earl? We were talking, it was the other one. It was the other cryptocurrency that was out there. Shimu.
There was so many of them.
Yeah, the little joint.
There was so many of them.
Some other stuff. All that
like
stuff.
Bitcoin or something.
Bitcoin's still going. That's still going. That's not going to work. That's still going. But it's a little offshoots that was out there. Everybody was trying to get rich on it at the time. And now not anymore. But yeah, that's not so breaking news, man. Before we get out of here, of course, we appreciate you guys rocking with us. It's almost 4 years, guys. Almost 4 years. We were doing this podcast thing, and it's been fun. We back at it once again. It's going to be a good fall for us. Volume 4 of All Black Everything will be coming at you guys this fall, so that's going to be fun. Football season's about to start.
It has started.
Yeah, it has started today. Because I think most of us, the training camps has started already. So, but again, this podcast won't be this if we hadn't taken our Xbox Live conversation and bring it over to the podcast space. So that being the case, you can find me at Sanatu on Xbox. Still playing the show, playing college football. That's all I'm playing right now, really. At the moment, we just enjoying ourselves. What you got, Dave? If I can get this banner off my screen.
The storyteller. We already spoke about college football, so let me use my time wisely. For those of you that don't know, I'm a diehard Mets fan, and it is the Subway Series right now, and the Mets are whooping up on the Yankees again. I believe they're about to be 4-0 against the Yankees in the last 4 games. Right now, it's 12-2 in the bottom of the ninth, in case you didn't know.
Goddamn.
Other than that, oh, shoot, how do we forget this? Besides college football, what else is going on in my life? Deadpool Wolverine.
Yes.
Come on. Deadpool Wolverine. It's coming. You did right. Deadpool Wolverine. I'm going to see it Saturday afternoon. It's a big, big time for me. To the point where I think I already told you, Sean, I'm sitting up there trying to find seats and I'm trying to get around people's schedules. And I was like, well, look, I'll go see it by myself. And then y'all can tag along later. I'll go see it twice because I just know it's going to be that epic.
Absolutely.
And from the early reviews with no spoilers, I hear it's lived up to every bit of the hype.
It's got a certified fresh. You got a certified fresh one I saw.
Yeah, I'm ready. Now watch out. Watch out when you perusing that internet because there are leaks out there. I haven't seen them. As soon as I see anything Marvel, I just shut it down.
Yes, absolutely. Marvel is up right now. They are up with this. I'm excited to see it as well. I'm gonna get through it this weekend. I got a lot happening this weekend, but I will get there to see it. Trust and believe it. Shout out to Xbox for them crazy ass remotes that they dropped. Did you see it? You got the ass on the back.
Oh, well, no, actually, I probably won't because when I looked at the price of them, I said,
yeah, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to. I don't want it. I don't want that. But that's funny. But yeah, what you got, Earl? What you got?
NJ Fat Boy 973.
Absolutely. New trailer for the Joker is out. The official trailer for Joker 2 is out. It's going to be a great fall movie watching season. So far, I have not seen any trailers for any Slave films. It's coming out during Christmas, so hopefully
yeah. End this shit, bro. End it after that. You ain't have to say that.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hot Seat Podcast. Subscribe on YouTube at The Hot Seat Podcast. Make sure you visit us online.
Here's the real version of King the Conqueror. On Christmas, Jonathan Majors makes a comeback.
Hey, you know what? He looks like he could play that role. Right? He's a throwback Negro. He can play that role, and he dresses the part 24/7. Right?
This is inspired by King the Conqueror. This is King and the Conqueror.
Yeah.
King the Conqueror roots. Oh, that's just funny.
And the slave master is Michael Ealy.
Make it good. Just being Sealy. I don't know.
Man, he's gonna come out and do that dance. All right, let's go.
I thought he was on the line. I didn't know what he was doing. Oh, that's just
The Hot Seat.